For any of y'all that don't know me, my name's Russell Yott. I own the Nocking Point currently. I've been deer hunting since I was 13 years old, bow hunting since I was 14 years old, and did a lot of hunting on private over feeders. I know a lot of people don't like that, and personally I don't really care for it anymore either, but I didn't kill a lot of deer back then, big deer especially. So after I got off that and started actually hunting deer, like they did, I guess, before feeders existed, and I started killing bigger deer. But I got bored with hunting private and started hunting public land, which a lot of people, how many hunt public land here? Oh, not very many. Well, it can be frustrating because if you, if you don't have plan B, C, and D in place, when you get to your parking spot and there's 15 cars there, it kind of ruins your day.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be open-minded. But I hunted public. I've hunted, I don't know, probably 15 different public areas in Oklahoma. Did some public hunting out in western part of the United States, elk hunting and stuff like that, but mainly public in Oklahoma. I have found out that you can kill deer miles deep on public, or you can kill them 20 yards off the road. It just depends. So what I do is I basically, if I got a 3-day hunt or a 5-day hunt or whatever, I spend the first day scouting trucks. And so I scout where all the trucks are. And then I determine where we're going to hunt after that. I've had some pretty good success. I don't know you've killed 7 or 8 deer off public? Yeah. Sister's probably killed a few more, but anyway, they killed more deer on public than I have. The only deer I killed this year, I killed on public, but I've been a good guy, I guess you'd say. But anyway, so what I basically do is I scout trucks, and then I like units that are bow only. They have a little bit better success. You'll see tons of deer. So we usually start there, and less access the better. People are lazy. And so if you, there's some public here that has very few roads, and so you can get away from people. Bad weather is also a good one. If you can hunt during the week, it's even better. Usually you'll have a place by yourself if you're hunting during the week. But, and it just goes back to the whole deer deal, it just depends on the time of year that you're wanting to hunt. If you're hunting early season, I target food sources, and bedding between food sources really, because public, the deer hardly ever hit food during shooting light, especially if it's out along the edge of a food plot or something like that. Now, I like to hunt it during November. We, like this last year, I drew out for a Tishomingo tag an area that's not been hunted in 40 years. And so I had big expectations on it. I was only going to get to hunt it a day and a half. So we went in on Saturday at noon. And for any of y'all that don't know, nowadays this new fad is saddle hunting, which I've jumped on the bandwagon, but I like it for what I do. So you can run a little setup, show them that platform up there. That's a little saddle platform. If I'm scouting an area and like hunting during the rut. So I'm targeting cruising bucks. That's what I'll run. Because if I don't kill a deer within 2 hours, I'm moving. And if I see a deer, if I see 2 bucks walk a trail and I can't shoot with my bow, I move. And it don't matter if I've been there 5 minutes or I've been there 2 hours. Because you can't kill a deer with a bow if he's at 50 yards. And I like to kill him at 8. Because I'm not a very good shot, so I got to get him close where I can't miss him. And that's quite honest. But if I'm hunting an all-day set, I run this. This is a 5-pound Millennium stand. It folds up. I'll run that, and then I got a set of sticks that are made here local, out on a limb, out of Bartlesville. They're an I-beam form, but yeah, there's my saddle thing. So I'll have all my stuff in my bag like that. And then when I kill a deer, I've killed 2 does and packed out 2 does at the same time with my stand and all my gear coming out. But saddle hunting, you basically hang from that rope and you run this. This is basically my wife calls it an adult diaper, but it's super nice. I like it because I didn't wear safety harnesses, and I hated them. And so when I saddle hunted, at least I wore a safety harness, and because it is a safety harness. So I'll run this on public. It allows me to be mobile, and we can target bucks cruising, or we can target bucks locked down with does out in fields or whatever. I've killed. We hunted one unit, James Collins. A lot of people know about it. I killed a deer off 4 foot off the ground at 7 yards in a persimmon tree, and turned around and shot a coyote about 30 minutes later. But I'm not real big on getting high. I only carry 3 sticks. Most of the time I'm less than 10 foot off the ground. I want good angular shots on my bows. Plus I feel like I'm a ninja because I feel like I can reach down and touch them when I'm that low. But since I started saddle hunting, I have not had a deer pick me out of a tree yet. And I don't know if it's the way you're setting that you actually look like a limb or what. But even on public, I've not had a deer pick me out of a tree. But late season, we do a lot of late season hunting. We're targeting food away from the road. And you'll notice on public that the does will walk the trails. The bucks will not. The bucks will usually walk about 20 to 50 yards either direction of the trail. And you can see where they've been walking, but you got to be very observant of tracks. The buck I shot on this year, it was November the 10th, I think. I got to the unit at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, went in, scouted, found a heavy used trail along a ravine that was solid sheer rock. And so I walked the ravine until I found the only strip of dirt, which was about this wide. And it had rained like 3 days prior to that. And there was so many tracks, it was just a highway. And so I hung a stand there in a hackberry tree about 6 feet off the ground. Got in there Sunday morning, and I ended up passing 9 bucks. Passed one bigger than the one I shot, and I probably shouldn't have passed him, but I was hunting with that, that god-awful compound bow. I had one of those, and he came across the ravine just like I planned. Came by 8 yards, saw him he was broadside this way. He was a nice 8-point. He came up, turned broadside, and 10 yards in front of me. Walked by. When he walked off, he was about this wide, and I was second guessing myself why a free tag I let walk by. And so about 15 minutes later, another 8-point, or I thought was the same 8-point, came running back across the ridge down the trail that I was on, and I shot him at 8 yards. We'll kind of find out it was not the same deer, but it was a good 120, 125 inch 8-point. But he ended up dying in the ravine, so I packed him out on my back, and it was hard. But that's how a lot of people will nowadays, especially with all the hunting public on YouTube and all that. A lot of people are back in the middle of nowhere on public. That's when you hunt next to the road. I hunted over at Okmulgee and went to school out there. I hunted out there on that public. I shot a nice buck 25 yards off the road. And it was because everybody was going to the back and I didn't. So ended up shooting a doe and had a buck fall the doe in, and I shot him too. But that was probably 10 years ago. But yeah, so a lot of people, when they go in, keep walking until you run out of trash. When you stop seeing trash, that's where the deer are. But and a lot of times you'll notice that there'll be like a line, especially down in southeastern Oklahoma where I do a lot of hunting. There'll be tons of greenbriers. I know you can't see deer in there, but you can't shoot deer that are outside of your bow range. So there's really no use in hunting to see deer where you can't shoot deer. So I get in that nasty stuff, especially if I can get in there pretty quiet. I'll get in there where I can't see 10 or 15 yards. And so when I see a deer, it's a dead deer. I mean, if I want to shoot it or not. I mean, that's just basically my decision at that point in time. But so we did a lot of that, and especially late season. We'll hunt red oaks, and then we'll hunt along those trails going into red oak patches. on public. Same way, I started hunting my private like I hunt public, and I went from having 1 to 2 or 3 encounters with mature bucks to 9 or 10 encounters a year with mature bucks. Last year, we broke the 1,000-inch antler last year between the 4 of us. My daughter shot one that was 170. He shot one at 160. I shot 160-inch and 150-inch, and then my wife shot one that was, I think hers was like 147 or something like that. But we had a crazy year. Ended up going elk hunting and all that too. But it's just, you got to kind of, a lot of guys, and I see it online a lot because I'm online, but guys will start, well, there's no deer on my feeder. There's no deer on my corn pile. There's no deer here, and there's no deer there. There's only hitting there at night. The biggest buck I ever killed, I only had pictures of him at 3 o'clock in the morning on a straight, and I ended up shooting him 100 yards behind the camera at 4:30 in the afternoon. He was going around the camera in the daylight. He would not step in front of the camera in the daylight. So if you pay attention to that stuff like that, those deer are moving during the daytime. You just got to find out where they're at. The main thing is just pressure. You can use pressure. You can be the pressure, or you can use the pressure in your favor. Sometimes I'm pretty conservative, and I probably kill more deer if I was a little bit more aggressive on it. But you will find that guys that aren't set in their ways are usually the ones that are more successful. Like I said, I used to be a corn deer feeder hunting machine. Shot a lot of does, a lot of little bucks. But when I finally matured in my hunting experience and started paying attention to them, and also I went to school, I'm actually a biologist as well, but once I learned how deer act and stuff like that, then I started implementing my hunting game and increased my success rate big time. And so now I don't really do much hunting, but they do. And both my kids have, Autumn's fixing to be 16. Autumn shot a deer last year with her first deer with a trad bow. He shot a deer last year with his recurve, both inside 10 yards. My wife shoots them. We all hunt trad bows now, or pretty much. But if you're having issues with seeing deer or something, just change what you're doing, because the deer will pattern you way before you pattern the deer, especially on adult mature bucks. Mature does. Some mature does are harder to kill than bucks are, especially sometimes during the year. But other than that, anybody got any questions on something? I'm pretty open. I can show you some pins and stuff. I help anytime people draw out hunts. I try to help best I can, especially for kids that are killing deer. Because, like I said, I'm to the point now where I can kill deer pretty much anywhere. So it really doesn't make me no difference. I know a lot of guys put in for McAllister a lot. I've been 4 times. I probably won't never put in again, because I have a better chance at the same caliber deer on other publics with way less regulations. And you don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But a lot of times I don't even hunt till after shooting light. I won't even go in the woods until after shooting light, especially during the rut. I spend a lot of time ground hunting, moving from here to there. And if I find a little elm tree or a little persimmon, I'll put my saddle on, go up my saddle. I've hunted in trees as small as, me and a buddy had to hang in one oak tree that was so small because he had to hang on the opposite side so we wouldn't bend the tree over. That's just, thinking outside the box. If deer's walking by that tree, you can kill him in that tree if you can get in it. Yep. Yeah, I love the saddle. The saddle's been a game changer, really. Like I said, everything I hunt with, I can put in that bag. If I kill a deer, kill whatever, it comes out all one trip. I don't ever hunt this tree more than once. I won't never go in a tree more than once. Because by the time you go in there and get in that tree and hunt it, any deer that comes by there that night will know you were there. And a mature buck will not come by there again. And so I always, even if it's like 50 yards or 20 yards from the tree, like at the house, we'll put, we got a deer feeder out. If the kids or the wife want to hunt it, we'll put a stand in this tree, and next time we'll move it in the tree over here. And so that way they don't know where you're at. Surprise. And if you think about it, anybody that's hung a stand and actually hunted it, the first time you hunt it's usually the best day. I mean, after that it goes downhill. So that's just what we've done. And the saddle allows me to be lighter and move around and not have to worry about, you know, anything really. I can climb. Sometimes I don't even use my sticks. I'll just climb limbs to get in the tree. But anybody got any questions?
I've got one.
Yeah.
Can you, for a guy that's not used a saddle, can you describe the process when you arrive at your chosen place?
Yeah. All right. Here, let's put this on. There's different companies. The first one I built because I wasn't paying $400 or $500 for a saddle, and so I went and bought a sewing machine and high tensile strength thread. And there's a YouTube video of a guy that shows you how to make a pattern, and it's basically identical to this. As a matter of fact, my saddle that I built it out of ripstop nylon and this molar webbing, and it's about half the weight as this one. But since we carry this one in the shop, I hunted with it this year. Really like it. It's got a little bit bigger pouch. So basically I walk in the woods like this right here, already rigged up, ready to go. And so I don't have to think about it. And so this right here is your bridge. Most of them are fixed, but this one has a removable bridge. Some people wear the dang leg straps. You don't have to, but so I'll get to the tree, and then this becomes my lineman's belt. And so I'll put it in this loop, and I'll go up the tree. This is my lineman's belt, and I know this is going to throw some flags, but once I get to my height, I actually take it off and use it for my tether too, because I'm lazy and don't like to carry two ropes. But, anyway, this right here will be my lineman's belt. And so I'll go up the tree just like this, and then put my sticks on. If I get up there and want to put my platform or my stand on, I get to my height. When I get in my stand, I disconnect this, and you half hitch this rope. This is what they call your tether. You half hitch it around the tree, and depending on your comfort, when I first started, they said put it like head high. Well, I noticed when I did that, I had a lot of hip pinch and stuff on my saddle. Well, I got to messing with it and figured out. Matter of fact, I almost quit saddle hunting because of it, but I figured out that if I put it chest high for me, and I leave my bridge pretty long, then you hook this to here, and you're basically hanging from the tree like this. And you can walk around the tree. You can shoot 360. You can even rotate like this and shoot down. And a lot of people use what they call squirrel steps, which is just a strap with a bunch of pegs on it that just wraps around the tree, so you can move around the tree. And you notice like on this platform, all these flat edges on it. And so they're made to where you can stand here, you can stand up on this, you can put your feet on the backside here. I mean, a lot of the new companies that are, I wish I had a Trophy line just came out with a new Hyperlight platform that's got some real sharp edges and spikes to where you can put your foot on, and you know, you can rest your foot here. You're hanging at an angle like you're leaning up against the counter. So you're basically hunting like this, you know, leaning out. So you really do look like a limb. And so you can put your foot like right here. You can put your foot on the outside. I mean, it's basically whatever. That's the thing, is it's so modular. Like I said, a lot of cedar trees. I'll climb up. Me and him's got one set up. Well, where he shot his buck last year at 9.5 yards, it's just a cedar tree. We climb up the limbs, tether off, and we up at height. We took two limbs out, and where he can shoot this way, and I can shoot on the backside, and it's devastating. Like I said, we don't go in there till we're ready to kill something in it, and so we'll drop in there. They usually cruise through there anytime after about October the 20th. The bucks will start cruising through there, and so we'll get in there and hang on them and try to shoot something. But that's basically all it is to it. I mean, and like I said, there's different companies. I've used this one. This is the Trophy Line Covert. It's the one that they're going to auction off. That's the whole kit. It's got pouches and everything. We use tethered Manus. I had the original tether. It didn't have, you won't want the Cobra buckles, which is these, like this right here. Most of them nowadays have it. But the original tether didn't. And as you walked, when I was on public, when I was walking, I was constantly having to grab my belt and tighten it because it would just fall off. It just get loose and fall off. And so I sold my tether, and that's when I built my own. But now they've all went to these Cobra buckles that they're amazing, and you know, they're super easy to quick connect, disconnect. You can A lot of these new saddles have straps here so you can loosen or tighten, and this will put more weight on your lower leg or less weight on your lower leg. You know, I'm a pretty big guy, and I have no problem hanging it. The only problem I've had, and that's why I went to the stand instead of the platform, was mule deer hunting in Colorado, and I walked in like 4 or 5 miles and then hunted all day in my platform over a water hole, and I like to never walked out. My feet were hurting so bad by the time I got out. And so then I went to that. This is a Millennium M7. You can spend a lot more money and buy you a, they call them a Lone Wolf 0.5, which I had one. It's amazing, but the seat's about this big.
Yeah.
And they're the same weight as this stand. And so this stand is actually pretty big when you fold it out. And so this is what I like. I mean, it's noisy because it's that tubular aluminum instead of machine. But I mean, that's a pretty big stand. And it's like, I mean, it's 5 pounds. They come with a big old ratchet deal, which, you know how people are. I've took that off. But that's those sticks, those are Shikar sticks. They're the tethered one sticks. I have a set of those too. This is my first year using them, but look at that drum tube. So all Millenniums come with this little bracket on them, but they also come with a big old ratchet strap on it. So I cut it off and put me a pull strap to where now I have no metal noise. And so I carry this in my pocket, and I leave that on my backpack when I'm going up the tree. When I get to the tree, I just grab my stand, latch it in here, and I'm in the stand hunting. I could be in a tree in 5 minutes from the ground. And I got a carabiner with a paracord that I hooked to my bow, and I just clip it on my saddle when I go up the tree. Because what was it, last year, year before last, I was on my number 2 stick and had a big buck come in, and I shot him from the stick. That's one thing good about the saddle, is you're always on the tree, so you have free use of your hands. And so he was coming down the trail, I just ran my bow up, knocked an arrow, and boom, shot him at like less than 10 yards. The hunt was done before it even began. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. It's not for everybody, and you know, I like hunting some fixed stands. I got some fixed stands on my private that I hunt, but I'll just being honest, it's a waste of time, really. I don't get to hunt much anymore with the business and everything, so when I go hunt this now, I hunt to go kill something big. Like I said, I may have hunted 6 or 7 times all season, and but you know, if you got limited time and you're hunting public and all that, and, you know, it's the way to go. Those are he makes a fixed stick that's a fixed stand, but I don't like them because I can't stick them in. You got to stick those on the outside of your pack. And now with that Lone Wolf Custom, I could stick the whole stand in my backpack. It's so small, but you know, for double the cost and a bigger stand, actual stand, I went with the Millennium. But you know, this is another guy. We're gonna start carrying his stuff. He hadn't been doing any dealership deals, but this is the Shikar sticks, and they don't come with these daisy chains on them. This is am steel. I don't know if anybody, y'all know what synthetic winch line is? That rope is like 3,600 pounds, and it floats on water. It's so light. And so, you know, in public, you can't drill in trees and stuff like that. So I use daisy chains for everything. I got an S-beaner. It's like a double-sided carabiner, but you can wrap that around a limb and hook your S-beaner in one of these notches, and you got a bow holder. And that's what I hang my bow from. But I like these, and like I said, I got the tethered one sticks, they're carbon core, I think. They're tubular. I like them as well. This is the first year I've used them, but I've used these Shikars for 3 years now, I think. But they're an I-beam construction, and I'm dang near 300 pounds. And with the daisy chain, when it's on the tree, this I-beam's like bent. And when you take your daisy chain off, you literally physically have to rip this off the tree because these are so sharp. I mean, they'll like cut you. But, I mean, and they're only 1.5 pounds. I mean, a lot of people don't really, like, they're super, super light.
Made in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Bristow. Yeah, it's out on limb manufactured. We're gonna start carrying his stuff. I messaged him, I think 3 weeks ago, and he said, yeah. He said, I'll do a dealership. So we'll have his stands. He also just come out with a saddle. So here, where's my saddle at, man? You put it in the bag? But I love them. The tether one sticks are they're almost half the weight as that one, but they're about double the price too.
Yeah.
I think the retail on those are like $99 a piece, and the tether one sticks are $150 a piece or 100 and something. But now this is the saddle. This was pretty heavy too, but y'all can check that out. But I love it, and I was getting bored with it really, and then I started hunting out with saddle and just seeing what I could do, just seeing where I could get.
About height, on average, how high up you go?
8 feet maybe?
How would I put this? The height I need to kill a deer.
On average, what do you find it to be?
This high? Probably. Like I said, one time the deer I killed, I didn't even use the stick. I just put my stand, stepped up on my stand. I mean, the tree was like literally this big around, and so I couldn't get any higher in it. And so I just stuck my stand. I use my stand for a chair sometimes. I shoot a lot of them on the ground, but yeah, I probably, if I took a tape measure, I don't know if I've ever hung in a tree stand higher than 12 feet off the ground. But like I said, I'm hunting where I'm hunting, it's river bottoms, Osage trees. You know, we hunt out west where it's mesquite and Osage, and you can't see nothing when you get up there. And plus it hurts you. The higher you get when you shoot a deer, the less vitals you have to shoot. And so I like, that 8 to 10 foot is money. You're still in the canopy, you got back cover, and it's just lethal. I love it. And, especially with trad bow, you need all the help you can get. Like I said, I can't shoot very good. So, I get them close, and I don't know, even when I hunted with a compound before I trad hunt, I don't ever remember shooting. I haven't shot a deer over 25 yards ever. I mean, I've always got them really close. I like it. I like getting them where I can hear them. The other night, I took an old Dana bow, if any of y'all know what those were. It was the original solo cam. It's got a longbow limb on the top and a cam on the bottom. And I took one of those hunting the other day and had a doe so close I could hear her eating I could hear her crunching and breathing. And when I shot that loud bow, she was about to hear that wall before the arrow got there. But if she hadn't moved, I'd have smoked her. But it was so cold, I was shaking so bad. I was like, but it didn't help that she already busted me beforehand and then came back in. But anybody else got any questions? I like talking about it. It's only been like 5 minutes, Jason?
If we had time, I think it'd be nice to kind of see,
Yeah.
maybe if we can go outside, it's warm enough, I think, Russell, that you guys have never seen it. You can
I can show you. It's
right off that hole right there is what I was thinking.
Got it.
yeah. It's like I said, I enjoy it, man. It's crazy.
I wouldn't put your standard.
No, I can sit all day in that right there. But like I said, when I was using the platform, about 2 hours, and I'd have to get down and move or something. A lot of guys will sit with their saddle and loosen it off to where they can put their knees against the tree. I have horrible knees, and I can't. I bought knee pads, hated them because they were like plastic and that on the tree. I was like, that's just gonna bust a deer. Is all that's gonna do. And so I've kind of like straddled the tree before, but I've done that. And I'm like, well, if a deer comes in, I can't really shoot. And so I've just went to that stand. I'll loosen my tether off. I'll turn around, set down. But I can do all day with that right there. And like I said, if I'm hunting public, on my private, I ain't got a whole lot of places to hunt. So if I'm hunting my public, I usually stay put. But if I'm hunting public and I don't kill a deer in 2 hours, I'm moving. There's no use in it. It's just a waste of time. Because during the rut, they're either there or they're not. You got to find a hot doe, basically what you're doing. And so if I don't see a deer in 2 hours, I'm moving. And like I said, if I see a buck, if I see one buck take a trail and I see another one behind him, I'm moving. I'm on that trail the next one. So, but yeah, if you want to see it, I can hang it on that pole out there. It's not too big around. A lot of times, like that's the tether that comes with the saddle. I used it this year. I did run into one tree that was too big around, that it would not go out far enough. And also this right here, if you don't know what these are, most people that do climbing know what they are, but I don't think any saddle company yet comes with these. These are rope man. That's what they're called, but they're used for climbing. So they come off. They come like that, but it allows you basically to have. You can either use it on like your lineman's belt that you got a Prusik knot on. It replaces the Prusik knot, and it's so much easier to adjust. You can adjust it with one hand, and it's infinite adjustment. And so all you do is your dang carabiner hooks in it like that. But when you can pull it, you can pull your truck with it, and all you got to do is pull this little lever, and it releases, and it'll slide up and down. But I've put that on this, and I put it on my tether because I had it on my lineman's belt, and like I said, it was a game changer. And I was running 2 carabiners. I'd put a carabiner on my loop side, but it's too much weight, so I just went ahead and just used the loop instead. It's a little quicker, but yeah, it's just personal preference, really. It's whatever you want as far as this stuff goes. A lot of guys like these that kit will come with 2 big pouches that you can put anywhere on the side. It'll hold all your ropes, everything. I didn't like it because when I leave the house, I put this on. And so when I jumped the truck, those pouches was catching on stuff, and I've already got my bag, so I really don't need the pouches on it. So I just didn't even use the pouches on mine, but you figure that out yet?
Just put it back up together.
Yeah, if you want to see this hook work, we'll just hang from the tree. Hang from the pole up there.
This or this?
No, we'll leave the sticks. This,
So I got this side. Yeah. I have 2 right here.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll look good. This is yours.
And so I tuck it in like there, and that's how I walk in the woods. And so I carry that in my pack, in my boat. But
They're not bad for presets either. I did that with the kids. I mean, looking at that, you don't think that's safe, but like for my kids, I went home, I used this right here to muddy safe line, same thing you use using tree stand harness. I would do pre-hang sets, and then I could turn Blake loose. He's tied into a saddle when he's on the ground. This rope's 30 foot long. He clips his saddle into it, and as he's walking up, he's taking the slack up. So the whole time,
go with you.
he's tied to the tree.
Every stand I have out.
That's right, and it's a good thing. There's a fellow named John Cunningham that's got a good talk about that. He's
Yeah.
dealing with some of that. I fell out of a tree stand when I was 15, broke my finger. That's why I'm a fan of these.
Yeah.
A guy my size can hunt out of it, anybody can do it.
Yeah,
You're not sold to somebody.
yeah.
Not as many miles on you.
You'll
I'm
actually,
28, look at my face.
if you're doing presets, what we do is we put those ladders that all latch together and bolt that strap to the tree. We have those in a few places. And so all we do is we just go in there, we go up the ladder, put our stand or our platform there, we're hunting. We just leave them. And that way you can still use, we got one set that's in a travel corridor, a little pinch point that we've killed several deer in. It's got 2 stands and one of those. And I was also going to say about this, like this comes with the kit, this is not long enough. I want my tether 9 foot long because I'm fat and I like hunting trees the same size as me. So I hunt a lot of big red oaks and big post oaks. And so you can take that safety line and you can make 3 of these out of it. And all you gotta do is buy the little rope man and you can use them. That was originally my lineman's belt and my safety line, or tether was one of those safety line kits. But now they all come with these, and I mean, you can really tell, if you got a tree that big around, there's no tether left to attach to, so you're right up on the tree, and you need to be out where you can move around. A lot of guys that shoot trad bows are like, well, I can't move my bow around. Well, that's because you're too close to the tree. You should be able to take your bow, pick it up, and move it directly over you. And like I said, then you can kind of spin around. But if you want to see how it works, we'll go ahead and hook to a pole.
We got about a 15-minute break if you guys want to go out and watch him for our next, we got about 20 minutes for our next speaker.